I'm recording the webinar now, so that you'll be available to watch this webinar later on. I'll send you the link to the recording for future viewing. Well, thanks for everyone to be here, because version control is a difficult topic to talk about in the PL SQL community. Most of the time, when I open this topic, people go like, what problem? There's no problem with version control. It's all just fine. And I felt like, well, I must be an idiot. I'm so happy I'm not the only one, because this is a real issue. And I'm thankful that you guys are recognizing this issue, especially at the higher ups. If you go to the Oracle, they don't recognize the problem at all. Notice that there are almost no talks about version control in Oracle conferences, which is really, really odd. But the reason for this problem is that common version control tools are not available to PL SQL developers. They are usually available for JavaScript developers because they write on files. We don't write on files usually, at least our runtime is not in files. I know some of you write in files, PL SQL. But that's the main reason that we cannot use these nice tools, nice version control tools. What happens is that everybody has its own system, a certain set of rules and procedures and policies to manage their PL SQL source code, and they kind of gotten used to it and start ignoring other possibilities, just assuming that's not these other cool emerging technologies are not available for PL SQL. They just accepted this fact and moved on. So that's another issue. The other issue is that a lot of people confuse the management of PL SQL source code with the management of the table structures. However, those things are two separate things. Even like Java developers, JavaScript developers who manage their source code with Git have issues managing their table structures, because Git doesn't do that either. That's a totally separate issue. So if we can manage PL SQL just as well as they manage their Java and JavaScript code, we'll be on the same level with them. And then we can worry about managing tables, just like they worry about managing tables. Today, during the demo, we're going to show you how we do tables. We have a manual solution for that ties into Gitora really well. So we like it. I think it's going to be valuable for a lot of you. And you're free to modify it according to your needs. So it's not like we're going to completely ignore the problem. So the problems, again, if we just go over it quickly, obviously you are here because you recognize the problem. As PL SQL teams, we can't deploy as fast as other developers. It's difficult. We can't work together like other developers do. We lose code more often because people write over each other because we share the same runtime environment. And another aspect of saying the same thing as the previous statements is we can't respond to changes in business as quickly as other developers. Again, one other way of saying this is that we can't work as productively as other developers. And these are actually sometimes lack of version control is one of the top reasons people avoid using PL SQL in production. Like I know banks that try to get out of PL SQL rightly or wrongly because it's very hard to manage versions. Even though it's possible, it's not clearly available to them, and they just have it up to here, and rightfully so. So testing code, writing automatic code, automatic testing is very hard. Moving code is usually manual from one runtime to the other, from one database to the other, is very error prone. Well, with Gitora, I think we can fix all of this. So Gitora 2.0 will enable you like PL SQL objects in the database while you're working on them, and still continue using your favorite PL SQL editor, because we know it's very important. You'll be able to commit your changes in your PL SQL code to Git, you'll be able to move your changes from one database to the other using a pull command in Gitora. So you can move code automatically between your databases. You'll be able to apply common version control commands such as merge, branch, reset, which in Gitora is shown as a revert to a previous state. So you'll be able to do all of this, and you'll see your database code change. I mean, that's the whole point of the version control system. Like in Git, when you apply a Git command, say you merge code, and your working directory changes. But in PL SQL, your database doesn't change when you do merge and version control. Only the working directory, only the files change. With Gitora, these changes will be applied to the database automatically, which makes things a lot faster, and will enable you to manage packages, functions, procedures, views, triggers, synonyms, and object types in Git. We call these soft objects because you can issue a create or replace command to these objects. Anything else we call hard objects, like tables, because you can't do a create or replace with them. And we got a great success story, and Michiel is with us. Even though he's in a meeting, I think he just pops in and out, and at the end, hopefully he'll be able to answer questions. We got a great success story at Rennes. Rennes Logistics is a leading logistics service company from Germany, and they use Gitora in their continuous delivery pipeline. They manage, and they're live, they manage more than 20,000 database objects in Gitora. These objects are spread over 30 schemas. And it's all in Gitora, and it all works perfectly, moves from one database to the other. And they also have a Java team that ties well into this, so the whole thing works perfectly. And the person who made this all happen is Michiel Arendsen, who is a system architect and a team lead at Rennes. He has a blog, michielarensen.blogspot.com. And if you want to get serious with Gitora, and if you have to deal with these kind of problems, go to his blog. I highly recommend it. The blog is new. I'm gonna also, start referencing that blog in our own blog too. It's great. And he'll be here to answer your questions, hopefully. Oh, he's here. So if you have questions, you'll be able to answer them. Bobal has a question. Does Gitora manage SQL too? Like if a table's data changes, does Gitora create versions of them? No, we don't do that. We don't do that. Maybe in the future we do it, but not now. We're thinking about it though. Just a brief information about our editions. Some people asked about this before the webinar. We have 3 editions. One is the community edition is free. Basically, as long as you use Gitora in one database, regardless of number of users, it's free. We give free support for installation to make through the Q&A, we answer as many questions as we can. So as long as you stay with one database for small shops, it's just all free. With the professional edition, you can move code between databases. So if you code in this database, and if you have another developer or another team that codes in another database, they can pull your code, you can pull their code, and it all happens automatically. You can do merges automatically. You can generate diff scripts. So if you work, commit, and then you do more work, commit again. So you have 2 different commit points in your PL SQL. You can get the script of this difference automatically. We provide email support for professional support customers. And interestingly, there is no annual maintenance fee. There is no annual maintenance fee for Gitora. So you purchase it once, and you access all the minor versions of Gitora on 2.1, 2.3, 4, 5. It's only when we come up with the 3.0 that we're going to ask for a license fee again. We released Gitora like 2 months ago, almost, and now, or 3 months. Yeah, it was early September, and we already released like 2 minor versions and gave it to customers. The Enterprise Edition is really about customizations. A lot of people, like if you manage a lot of code, like Renus does, there might be some customizations you want us to do. There might be custom integrations that you want us to do. You get more support, like we actually remotely connect to your computers. We can do on-site support. We can advise workflows, understand your problems better, and advise workflows, help your team set up. We can even do release management for you on-site or off-site. We can give custom SLAs, online training, on-site training, off-site training. And all of this is part of the Enterprise Edition. But feature-wise, it's the same thing as the Professional Edition. We got a webinar special. A lot of people are spending time to come. We have a full webinar, by the way. Like probably people are at the door right now and they're not able to enter because, as it turns out, these webinars have a limitation of 100 attendees, and we had 396 signups the last time I checked. So it's usually 1/3, well, 40%, 30% of people show up. So we have people at the door knocking and not being able to enter. We have a full packed room, virtual, nevertheless, it's packed, virtual room. So we really appreciate your time being here. So we want to offer something special for you. During the next 24 hours, if you buy Gitora Professional Edition, we're gonna upgrade you to an Enterprise Edition, which means for every Professional Edition license you buy for $99, which is on this sale, by the way, until the end of this month, we're gonna give you an hour of free enterprise level support, and you can have us do anything you want except on-site support. For on-site support, there has to be a certain number of hours you have to buy. So we're not going to come for on-site for an hour. But other than that, it's full enterprise level support. The hours are valid for 1 year. So purchase Gitora. If you like what you see, purchase Gitora in the next 24 hours and get 1 hour of free enterprise level support for every license. Okay, back to work. Now, this is the traditional setup I've seen all over the place. It's not everyone has the exact same setup, but I think I've gotten pretty close. So I've been to many development shops, IT departments. There is usually a dev environment, and there is always a production environment. And between those two, there are one or more staging databases. They're called differently. Sometimes they're called release, test, integration, QA. Some people have user acceptance. Almost everyone has a pre-prod. So one-to-end databases between dev and prod. There is also some kind of version control, usually SVN mostly, or Team Foundation Server, or SourceForge. I've seen everything, really. But sometimes Git. But what happens is that people either write to files and commit to Git locally on their system, or maybe they share something, or they have like a check and check out button. On the best case I've seen is they have a check and check out button on the editor they use, which helps them to check in, check out, and save to SVN. That's the best. But usually there's always backdoors, and the process to saving to SVN is almost always manual. If not from dev, almost always manual. If you do it, if you change anything, as you inevitably do, if you change anything in the release, a test, integration, or user acceptance. So there are a lot of drawbacks here. There is queued access. This is blocking access to PL SQL objects. While I'm working on it, somebody else cannot work on it. A lot of communication is going on between team members. Even if two people are not working on the same PL SQL object, what I'm working on can affect the other person because, I'm deploying code. We are working on the same environment. And what I do might break what he's working on because his code might be referencing mine. Manual deployment, that's an issue. Very error prone. In these projects, features, and hotfixes are intermingled. It's hard to move hotfixes through this cycle, and usually hotfixes get lost, never make their way back to dev, or get overwritten by something from dev. It's almost impossible to do automated testing in such a setup because there's a lot of manual processes involved. No notion of branching and merging in the traditional sense. And worst of all is probably that all these rules, policies, and procedures around source control management are not enforced at the database level, but they're just manual. So everybody has to remember these steps. Again, a very error-prone process. Does this sound familiar to you guys? Like, does anybody go, yeah, that's us? So we're going to fix all that. So step one, Gitora comes into place. Minor improvements. So if you're a big shop, you don't have to change a lot. I know in big shops, IT departments, it's hard to change things. So, but even then, without having a 3-6 month project, it's possible to make use of Gitora. That's the point I'm trying to get through, that this is easy to start. Basically, you install Gitora to every database, and people start using Gitora to access the PL SQL objects. So you create your repository, your PL SQL objects are in Gitora, and from that point on, there is no way that developers can change anything without using Gitora. At that point, the most important thing that the version control rules are now enforced at the database level. We achieve this. That happens as soon as you install Gitora to your current setup, current databases. Now, a release manager, and I really hesitate the word release manager. I like to say a person responsible of releases because, people from enterprises, when they hear the word release manager, they go like, oh my God, we have to talk to HR and, create a new position called release manager and hire people and, come up with structures and everything. No, you don't have to do that. This is just a term. This can really be done inside the current development team. So there usually is a release manager, at least one, that manages the movement of the code between different database installations. And he uses Gitora to pull code from dev to release, or from dev to test to integration to QA. And then when that's ready, move code from test to user acceptance, and then from user acceptance to pre-prod. And finally, when everything is pre-prod and ready, the release manager uses Gitora to create a script to apply to production. And in Gitora, you can specify 2 commit points. The commit point of the production. The commit point, your current commit point. You give these 2 commit points to Gitora, and Gitora generates a script that will synchronize your production to your pre-prod. So that's how it works. And all of this is possible with just installing Gitora and not really changing a lot in your environment. And you get a lot. You still have queued access. It's still blocking. It's still interrupting. But now movement of the code is automatic. Now source code is actually in Gitora, and reliably so. Your dev source code is in Gitora, your release code is in Gitora, your user acceptance code is in Gitora, your pre-prod and production code is in Gitora, and reliably so. Projects and features are intermingled still, but you can do faster hot fixes. you can relax your rule and, pick one or more databases to do hot fixes. And it's okay because everything is managed by Gitora, the release manager can take that fix and apply it to other databases. It will never get lost. There's no way you can write over it, even if you forget to carry it over. It'll never get overwritten. That's the magic of version control. Even if you do something in change the code in user acceptance, and then get something from dev and put it to user acceptance, the changes you did in user acceptance will not disappear because of version control. That's what a pull is. You never lose code. Konstantinos has a question. On this slide, the red color, for example, at Qt access tag means what? Oh, the red is not good. In these 3 slides, red means not good. Yellow is, so-so, we got something going on. Green is good. So in the previous slide, everything was red, not good. We can't do any of these things. Like manual deployment is bad. Intermingled projects, features, hotfixes is bad. No automatic testing is bad. But here, Qt access, we still have Qt access, bad. But we got automatic deployment. We got source control. Source code is in Gitora, reliably so. Projects and features still intermingled, but hotfixes are faster. That's good. We got better automatic testing, because while moving the code from one database to database, you can now get right into there with a Git hook and actually run your tests and reject the code if it doesn't pass automatic testing. So we got some places where we can apply automated testing, which is good. It's not super good, but it's good. Basic branching is here because now you can be more relaxed on changes in preprod, user acceptance, dare I say a hotfix database, or in the test and integration databases, because changes will not get lost. You still have them, and you can still apply them to dev later on, whenever it's convenient to you. So that's some branching. And again, the rules are enforced at the database level, which is great. Jason has a question. Does Gitora integrate with Jira? If so, how is this possible? And do you have example of clients using this? Gitora can integrate with Jira. We haven't implemented it, but it's part of our enterprise service, so we can make it happen for you. At this time, nobody is using it that way, but I know Jira has APIs. Up until recently, we were using Jira. So whatever you want us to integrate to Jira, like its commits or to Bitbucket or whatever, Bitbucket is another product from Atlassian, who also owns Jira. So yeah, we can make that happen, no problem at all. Rudy has a question. Why is there no Gitora on prod? Good question. There is no need. Because, well, traditionally, even in the most advanced continuous delivery methods, people tend to be careful and do the final delivery manually. I mean, I'm not saying it can't be automatic, but it's usually manual. So can you put Gitora on prod? Yeah, but it's not necessary, and I know for a fact that a lot of people would refrain from it, but yeah, there is no technical limitation to do that. You can put it on prod if you want to. Does Gitora integrate with any CI like Jenkins? Yes, because you can do Jenkins with this, and I believe Michiel is using Jenkins. This actually really doesn't have to do much with Gitora, but with Git. And Michiel, are you here? Maybe I should turn your sound on. Hang on, I'm going to make you a Where is Michiel? I'm going to unmute you. Do you use any CI with Gitora, Michiel?
Hi. Yes,
Hi.
we do. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we actually integrate with Jenkins. We use it to merge source code from one database to another one, so we do automated pulls. And that works pretty nice. You don't need any extra plugins for Jenkins. You just run an SQL script, and that's actually it.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not only possible, it's being used. But you don't integrate the Jira yet, are you?
No, we use Gitora, so probably you will receive a question from us if it's possible to integrate it.
It is possible. It's part of our enterprise service, Michiel. Okay, I'm going to keep you unmuted, so your microphone will be open, and feel free to jump into any questions whenever you want, okay?
No problem.
So if there are no, I don't see any other questions, so I'm going to take it up a notch and move to the next step. Now that we got everything set up, we can do more with Gitora. You can now actually start adding more development servers. Now you can start adding other servers as well, release servers, test servers, but that's a separate question. But let's go with baby steps. You can add development servers. Now things look much better. Now there is fewer queues. It's a lot less blocking. Basically, how bad the blocking is and how bad the queues are depends on how many development servers you have. So one team works on one development server, the other team works on the other one. If you have 5, you can split to 5 teams. That totally depends on your project, size of your team, your needs. It doesn't matter. And also, it doesn't cost more because we don't charge by this at all. We charge by developers, so it doesn't matter. So you have all the incentives to do this. And yeah, less interruption, a lot less intermingling between projects and features. Each project or each feature set might get its own development machine. And you can, again, pull code from these things according to your timeline, according to your delivery deadlines. When Dev 2 is ready, you can pull from them. When Dev 1 is ready, you can pull from them. Even Dev 1 and Dev 2 or Dev 5 can pull code from each other. So there is some better branching and merging going on here, much better than the previous one. We also have much better automatic testings. A lot of testing can be offloaded from release, test, integration, QA servers. Many of these automated tests can be moved to dev servers, and maybe, dare I say, they might have their own integration servers at some point, which is the next slide. So before they ship code, they make sure it all runs well without blocking other people. So that's also a lot nicer. Any questions about this? Doesn't look like it. Feel free to ask questions anytime. I'm checking the questions tab quite often. Now, finally, step 3, Nirvana. We can implement any Git flow just like Java developers, just like JavaScript developers. At the full end of the spectrum, you can give each developer his own private environment. Now, this can be a schema. This can be a pluggable database. This can be a virtual machine. This can be an actual database, physical laptop or whatever. But it's possible. And what that implementation is depends on your use case. Depends on your situation, really. And then later on, once everyone has its own environment, maybe you can add project servers where teams in a project can have a central server to share code among each other, or run some QA, run some tests before going public with the code or with the feature, or maybe do some additional things. So they can communicate within the team, among each other. There are arrows between people too. And there's still a release manager, and there is still one or more databases where this whole thing gets together. And again, the existence of these servers and the hierarchical structure of them depends on your Git workflow, which is a different topic. I'm briefly going to mention what they are today. But look at the picture now. We have no queues, no blocking, no interruptions. We got full merging and branching capabilities, great automated testing. Basically, you can shift the load of testing to individual developer servers and make sure they put out quality code, so they don't wait until things go to production before they know that something is wrong. They can find that out immediately. See, the sooner you find out something is wrong in the development cycle, the better. And even better, a developer can switch, say, from its branch. Say he's developing a feature, and he's on a feature branch developing his new feature, and all of a sudden he gets a call from DevOps saying that there's an urgent production problem, and the company needs a hotfix, and he has to provide a hotfix. He can quickly switch in his environment to the production branch and exactly have what they have, because he has the entire repository and all the branches at his disposal. He can fix this issue, provide a hotfix in his environment, and release that hotfix, go through this quality checks in your organization quickly, and deploy to production without bothering anything else. So all these hotfixes can be now done at developer level if necessary, which is great. And this really speeds things up. Okay, here are a few questions. Bobal asks, can Gitora identify duplicate versions and remove them? There are no duplicate versions in Gitora. What can happen is that you can have merge conflicts. So the most common problem that you're going to run into is in this kind of setup that developer one is going to change a function, same line and the same function, and developer two is going to change the same line and the same function. Okay, and then you merge these changes at some point. Obviously, there's no way Git can merge these two. And Git is going to say, you know what, I can't figure out what's going on here. I cannot automatically merge these modifications. I give up. There's a merge conflict, and tell you to fix it. And at that point, again, you're going to see in our demo that we're going to show you packages and the merge conflict, and the release manager or the developers come in and resolve that conflict and make a new commit to Git and move on. So there is never duplicate versions, but you'll have merge conflicts, which is totally expected to happen, totally normal. So now if you reach Nirvana, even before you reach Nirvana, you can now implement this. This is one of the workflows called Git Flow. Like even at step 1 or 2, you could do this. The screen, I have a big screen here, that's why I'm looking here. Like imagine each branch here, feature branches, develop, release branches, hotfixes, master. Imagine each one of these as a live database or a live schema or a live set of schemas, depending on how complicated your code is. For example, in Renus, because they have 30 schemas, their application runs on 30 schemas, I would say that each of these branches are one database. Not that, I don't think they implemented that way yet. Correct me if I'm wrong, Michiel, but I don't think you implemented it this way yet. But this is, with Gitora, technically it's possible to set up one database for each branch here and just get going. And developers would switch from database, connect to different databases to do their work. So if there's a hotfix, the developer would connect to the hotfix database and apply a hotfix. Then the release manager move this hotfix to the develop branch or to the feature branches as he sees fit. So this setup is not possible with Gitora, even if you don't go to Nirvana level. With step 1 and step 2, this is possible. There are different workflows: centralized workflow, feature branch workflow, Git Flow workflow, the one that's behind. There is a nice articles about these. I highly recommend you to Google these things and read them. I think Git Flow is a very structured, very nice flow to start with. And it might not be the ideal workflow for you. Maybe it can be like even be made more simpler. But starting is more important here. It's okay to start with the not the most efficient workflow. It's just fine. And I think Git Flow is a safe place to start. But I'm not going to talk about the flows today. That's probably a different webinar. Oystein has a question. Do you need to have a server installed on each local system as shown in the previous diagram? Yes. So, yes, you have to have Gitora on each database. It's not a big deal. It's really just one installation. This shouldn't be an issue at all. Any other questions? If not, I'm going to talk about how Gitora works, and then we have the demo. Konstantinos has a question. Are we going to have the presentation slides? Yes, to everyone who attended this webinar, I'm going to send the slides and the video recording of the webinar. Probably today, or latest tomorrow. So, if you're curious, this is how Gitora works. Basically, the way you work is that you can edit PL SQL objects as usual in your favorite editor. You need to log in. The only additional step is that before you edit anything, you need to log into Gitora in your editor. And in most cases, this can be done automatically. And Michiel wrote a great blog post about how to do that. He also answered a question about this in our Q&A site. So if you're really lazy and don't want any additional burden, even just executing one line of code, the same line of code, every now and then, you can set this up in a way that you just log into your system, just as usual. There is a login trigger in the database that recognizes you, who you are, and logs you into Gitora automatically. So not even that's possible. And occasionally, you're going to need to use the Gitora APIs. Gitora APIs are usually used by the release manager or the people who are going to manage releases. But developers usually going to use the Gitora GUI to commit their changes to Git. And the reason we did not do this as an API, the commit is not an API, but it only can be done via the GUI, is so that people don't just commit changes willy-nilly. So they know what we want people to know what they're committing. In the Gitora GUI, you're going to see a nice list of objects that you're going to commit. You can pick and choose what you're going to commit. You can click a button. It's going to pop up a box where you have to enter a message and describe the change you made. And we want this to be really formal. This is really important part because that history is so valuable. That's why we didn't just want to make it an API, because I know it's an API. People are just going to, I'm just going to commit like crazy. So we wanted to be conservative about this, at least initially. And technically, Gitora has a database trigger. It's a DDL trigger, database level trigger. It listens to DDLs. If there's an PL SQL object that is registered to Gitora, if your PL SQL object is not registered to Gitora, Gitora does nothing with them. So you can pick and choose which objects you want to manage with Gitora. But if it's an object that's in control of Gitora, it's not going to let you edit it unless you sign in. And if you are signed in, it's going to communicate with Git and update your working directory. It's a bidirectional communication, because if you're going to issue version control commands, such as reverting back to a previous commit point or merging, for those commands, Gitora is going to communicate with Git first, find out which PL SQL objects have changed due to this command, and apply those changes to the database. And only the changes are applied. So you might, just like Michiel, you might have 20,000 objects. You might change only 5 of them and want to pull these changes from one database to the other. Only 5 objects will move, not 20,000 objects. So it's really quick. Git is super fast. And we execute these DDL statements as fast as your database is. And people have some really powerful machines. And technically, Gitora has a database schema with some PL SQL code on it, some tables and views. And it has a Tomcat application server and some Java code in that application server as a Java application. We highly recommend to install this Tomcat server with the Java application to the same machine where the database is, so that the communication between the database and the Gitora is fast. It's okay to have it in the same network and in different machines, as long as the connection is fast. What's not okay, and I've seen people doing this and I've received emails, hey, this is really slow. What I've seen people doing is that they have a database in the cloud at Amazon, then they install the Gitora Tomcat server in their local machines. And that's slow because the database is in the cloud, the Tomcat server is here, and of course this is going to be very slow. So don't do that. So as long as it's in the same network, it's just fine. Also, one other important thing is Gitora assumes a secure network. So it just, in the next versions, we're going to enable secure logins to Gitora. But right now, it assumes a secure network. So if you're going to use this from home, make sure you connect with a VPN. But in the next versions, not too late really, this is going to happen really soon, we're going to introduce SSH keys or username and passwords, so that the communication between two database servers is done securely. Okay, Oyston says, no, I meant the server on each local machine. Oyston, yes, I think I understand it correctly. This Gitora there should be one Gitora installation per database. So if you have one per pluggable database, actually, if you have one database, even if it's one pluggable database, you have to have one Gitora installed to it. I think wasn't that the question? I think that was the question. Mohammed has a question. Hi, Mohammed. How Gitora will interact with different DB servers? Each Gitora installation interacts with one database server, and the way the communication between two database servers happens is they don't communicate with each other, but two separate Gitora installations communicate with each other. So if you want to move code from if you want to pull code from one database to the other, say from development to test, both has to have Gitora, and then in the demo we're going to show you're going to connect to the development Gitora and pull code from it.
Jalil,
yes.
Maybe it is also more clear to say that you can have a middle tier somewhere, a Tomcat server, which can access to multiple databases. Like we have one machine hosting several tomcats for different databases. So you don't need 3 different machines with each client cycle.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you, Michiel. Thank you for reminding this. Yes, I mean, technically, okay, to be precise, there can be one Tomcat server. Gitora has a Java application. So you can install your Java application. You can install multiple Gitora Java applications to the same Tomcat server. And each one of these Gitora applications will talk to one database server. Is this better?
Yes, that's the setup we have. We have one.
Yeah, so that's possible.
Hosting 3 Tomcats.
Yeah, so you can have one Tomcat or 2 Tomcats and install multiple Gitoras to it. It's just, I don't know, my mind always, yeah.
You just have to be careful about changing some ports, but I'll make a nice blog of it.
Yes, that's a blog. So yeah, if you're careful, see, that's so error prone that you have to be careful with ports, because each application, Gitora application, can only talk to one database, should talk to one database, and if you make a mess of ports, the whole thing can go really crazy really fast. But that's okay, yeah, you can do that. Yeah, Austin, I think we're talking about the same thing. Narayan has a question. How many versions of code is maintained in Gitora? How far back we can go? You can go as far back as infinity. Like the moment you start to use Gitora and Git, that's the point you can go back. It stores everything, full history. And Git does that. Like Gitora is only a bridge between the database and Git. That's Git. You can go as far back as you want. No limit. Does Gitora work with SE, Oracle SE and SE2? Neil Brooks asked this question. Yes, it works with 10G, 11G, and 12. Object types are only supported at 11G and above. Christian has a question. What about the DB objects that cannot be handled by Gitora? We will use 2 methods for version control, Gitora and our customized method. No, there is actually one method that our custom method. Well, let me start from the beginning again. This is a problem for everyone, for Java people, for JavaScript people. It's a problem for everyone. Tables, maintaining tables is difficult. There are tools out there that do this. They are very expensive. It's okay to use them. I haven't used them personally. I think just way too expensive. We think we have a good solution that ties into Gitora really well, and we're going to show it to you in the demo. So it's like a 1.5 solution, really. It's not 2 separate methods. Oyster has a question. Do you need to have one database and one Tomcat for each system? Okay, I think I answered that, Oyster. No, you have. With one Tomcat, you can manage an unlimited number of databases. But the Gitora application, one Gitora Java application, manages one database. Maybe I should type this. One Gitora application manages one database. One Tomcat can manage multiple Gitora applications. Better. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay. So John Campos asks, so Gitora is its own schema. Is the footprint very large? No, the footprint is very small. It's very small footprint. And it has its own schema. Aktam, no problem, Aktam. We'll have a video for you. Mohammed asks, does Gitora depend on a specific port? No, you can customize the port. Aktam asks, will Gitora automatically generate build notes, steps needed to migrate QA with the latest dev project? Michiel, were you doing something about this?
Can you repeat the question again?
Will Gitora automatically generate build notes, steps needed to migrate QA with latest dev project?
No, you can easily create a script for that. You have to just tell Gitora API to pull from a remote repository and then give it the branch you want to pull.
We generate scripts. If there are special notes, I guess you can have like a file for that make sure you do this and put that in Git, not in Gitora, but in Git, or create a procedure in database, but which is actually just a notepad. I guess if you have special settings notes, you can do that.
Yeah.
So some people are in Turkey. Some people are leaving because it's time to leave. The service buses are leaving. So yeah, I'm going to send you guys the demos. Jason asks, does Gitora work with Oracle Forms? No, Jason. Well, not with. No, it doesn't. I'm sorry. There is not enough of a market to build that tool. It's never going to happen. Is the source code stored in the Gitora schema? No, the source code is stored in Git. Git manages all the version control tasks. So it's your code will be managed by the most reliable open source highly used version control system out there, Git. Udayanga has a question. If several developers working on the same object in same schema, how can we work parallelly using Gitora? You cannot. This is impossible. So if several developers are working on the same object in the same schema, basically the same file, that's impossible. This is physically, mathematically impossible. The way to work on the same logical object is to create a new schema with the same package. So even though physically you're working on, developers are working on the different packages, logically they're working on the same package, and Gitora will help you merge their changes. Sorry, Jason. Like, we can take this offline and talk about it. If it's like I think if you have a forms team and you have forms applications, we can still help you with Form Spider. It's time for you to start thinking about getting out of forms, and I think we can help you with that, getting out of forms in a really cheap way. Email me and I'll be happy to talk to you about that. Okay, we have two more questions and it's demo time. Does Gitora have any competition that is Flyway? Flyway is not a, John asks this, Flyway is not a competition. Flyway does very different things. And how do you separate your product from the others? There is competition. There is DB Maestro, a very expensive product that also does tables. But the difference is we are a good enough solution and very affordable. I don't know how much DB Maestro costs, but like you cannot download their products without giving a lot of information. It's enterprise sales. I don't know.
Like 2,500 per developer.
How much?
2,500 per developer.
Is that euros?
2,500 euros per developer.
Yeah, so that's
something like that
per developer, and there's a minimum, I believe. Like you have to buy at least 10 or something. There are minimums sometimes for higher editions. So we are an affordable solution. There is Redgate. But Redgate doesn't do these mergings and parallels as far as I know. It's basically a recording of history, I think. But again, I wasn't happy with it, but that's why we decided to build this. But you have to check this out.
Redgate does schema compare.
So it's you actually bought Redgate, right, Michiel?
Yeah, we
decided not to use
away from it. Redgate product doesn't really enforce the source control on your object. You really have to think about, hey, I can change anything you like, and then you see that it has been changed, but there's no way to protect your source code by Redgate source control. It doesn't protect, hey, you're not allowed to edit this object or whatever. It just allows anything to be changed, and then it detects the change, and you can check it in.
No, it's basically just logging.
Correct.
Oh, and then everything is schema compare?
Schema compares for deployment, so it compares
that's awful. That's awful. That's awful.
So we stepped away from that, so we're not using it anymore.
Neil asked.
One remark from Flyway. In our setup, we use Flyway in conjunction with Gitora. Flyway we use to migrate table changes like the hard objects you talk about. We have to script the changes, alter table, add column, whatever. We upload it to Subversion, and we have Jenkins and Flyway make it an automated deployment for these scripts. So it works together in our CI process.
Yeah, with Gitora, you can use Gitora with Flyway and use Flyway for hard objects. Neil asked about merging. That's in the demo, Neil. We're going to show you more in detail. Provide your email address. So somebody asked my email address. It's on the slides, but here it is. Again. Okay, now it's demo time. There is a saying in theater, show, don't tell. So in theater, the idea is that you don't let the actors tell the feelings. They don't say, I'm angry. They show they're angry. So with version control, enough talking, that's just to show this to you. This is the setup we're going to show you during the demo. So there's going to be a pre-prod database. We have 3 virtual machines in the same laptop. So these are just literally 3 different installations. We're going to have a pre-prod database. You can think of it as a test database, release database, hotfix database, QA database, integration database, whatever you like. It's one of these databases. We have a dev1 database and a dev2 database. And we're going to demo to you how we initialize dev1, dev2, how we make changes in dev1, how we make changes in dev2, and how we pull those changes back to pre-prod. Okay? So with that said, I'm going to give the presentation to my colleague Serdar, and he's going to take over. Hi, Serdar.
Hey, hi.
Okay, so what's happening? Are you the presenter yet?
Yeah, I believe. You tell me. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can now.
Yeah? Okay.
If I see it, everybody else can see it, I believe. Or is this too optimistic? Can you guys see the screen? I see 2 faces, yes.
Yeah,
I'll stick around. I'll stick around to, of course, I'll be here to, I'll provide colorful commentary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hey, hi everyone. This is Serdar from Gitora. Yeah, what I'm going to tell you is, as Yalın told before, there are 3 environments here: pre-prod, dev1 and dev2. First of all, we're gonna create a Gitora repository in pre-prod. We have source code in the database ready. We'll just create a repository in Gitora, and then clone this repository into dev1 and dev2 environments, and then make some changes with different users. And then we're gonna resolve some conflicts, push codes, and that's all. Let's begin.
All right, let's go.
Yeah. Let's go to the. Yeah. Let's see the database first. This is the pre-prod database. As I told you, there are 3 databases, 3 environments: pre-prod, dev1, and dev2. The schema name is demo schema. It's the same for 3 of them.
It doesn't have to be though, but it is, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, but for simplicity reasons, that's what we chose. Also, it can span multiple schemas. It doesn't have to be one schema.
Yeah, that's right. This is the contents. It's very basic. There are packages here that we want to track with Gitora and Git.
And tables. We also have tables, right?
Yeah, we have tables here.
So we're also going to show you how do you work with tables.
Mm-hmm. Let's see the other environments. As you can see, the other tables and packages are not here that we want to track. Sorry. And dev 2, as you can see, there are no tables and there are no packages. So we'll be there soon to fill it. Yeah, these are the packages we want to track. So let's log into Gitora for preprod and then create a repository on that objects. Yeah. To log in Gitora, we have to open it from your browser. You have to open it from your browser. We have users, of course, to keep track of the changes. Preprod's user is Realman, which is a synonym for release manager. Release manager. The password is the same. Release manager. Realman. So, as you can see, it's complete empty. Let's create a repository. We click the new repository here. Give it a name. It is demo. The schema is, as I told you, demo schema. Okay. Yeah, as you can see, there's we have an empty repo right now. We can see there are no schemas in here yet, so we haven't added the packages to there yet. So by clicking this button here, we can select packages or any other objects from here to add which objects we want from Gitora to track. So we just want to track the packages for our demo. So just add all, you say.
By the way, if you have way too many objects, this whole thing can be scripted with PL SQL. So you don't have to use a screen if you have 20,000 objects like Michiel does.
Yeah, it may be a little slow if you...
Yeah, I mean, there are APIs for that.
Yeah. By the way, I said slow. As you can see, this is a laptop machine, and there are 3 virtual machines here running just 8 GB RAM. So it may be a little slow than usual. So Gitora is a lot faster than this. So I just want you to know that. That's okay. Let's see. Can we? We are waiting for this object is written to the file system right now. It is being added to Gitora and Git.
Yeah, normally this is instantaneous.
Yeah, this is because of the laptop.
Yeah, it's 16 GB RAM, latest processor still.
Probably it's because of the hard disk. Yes.
Yeah, I should have bought an SSD.
Yeah, let's see. As you can see, we now see a demo schema here in the tracked schemas, under the tracked schemas. Let's see. Here are our objects, our packages that are being tracked, which are not committed yet. So we do it right now.
So the green lock shows that they're checked out, they're recognized by Gitora, and they're checked out by Release Manager. So now Sardar is going to commit them all.
Yeah.
So this is our initial commit.
Yeah, this is our initial commit. As you can see, we have a list of objects here, which shows you the changed objects. You change the developer changed objects. You can click the div here and see the div. It's the whole object right now because this is the first initialization. So let's commit. Let's say initial commit. Commit. Cross your fingers. Yeah, commit is done. Okay. Now we have our first repository. We're good to go to the second repository for development environment. We need to do a clone in, maybe I should show you here. We prepared here, pre-prod. Now we should create environments for development 1 and development 2 environments. So let's do clone operations for them, git clone. So log in to the other development 1 environment, as you can see here. The username is here as John. That's to be easy, John. We decide that a developer can be John.
Yeah, and this server can have multiple developers. We just chose one.
Yeah. Okay, there's no, as you can see, repositories yet here. There's a button for here, remove commands, which is here is clone, remove clone operation. Oh, sorry. First of all, I need to tell you how to tell this environment, development 1 environment is gonna know where to find the other repositories in the pre-prod environment. So we have to add from here. There is a line here, a connection between these two environments, pre-prod and the development 1 environment. As you can see, I added a line here, pre-prod, which includes the IP and port of pre-prod environment. So it's good to go. I've already did that before. And just do clone and select the line here, pre-prod environment. And from here, as you can see, the repository name we just created in the pre-prod environment, which is, let me show you again. This is the name, repository name from pre-prod. And now we have to give a name in this environment too, which can be the same, maybe should be the same, not to confuse anyone. And the schema name is the same as I told you at first, demo schema. If there are new objects, we have to tell it here too, that demo schema. In pre-prod environment, there is demo schema, and in development environment, we want all objects from demo schema should be created in development environments demo schema. So
yeah, and the schema names could be different.
Yeah, we can change it from another schema.
So just for simplicity reasons, we don't do that, and I don't think anybody will do that very often.
Yeah, it seems like it's the same schema, but I want to warn that these are in other database instances. Okay. Let's Press OK. Now Gitora makes a clone operation, performs a clone operation down there. Yeah, the clone is done. As you can see, our initial commit can be seen here, which let's click on it. You can see here the author of the commit, the date, of course, and the objects. Also, we can see the diffs of view the files by clicking here. So our first environment is ready. We should go on to prepare development 2 environment. Let's log in. Yeah, the other user should be Smith. Smith, the passwords.
Hey,
yeah.
Show us the code. Show us the
code.
Yeah.
No, I forgot. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, let's see development 1 environment, demo schema. Let's refresh. As you can see, there are packages here. They're put there by Gitora. And as you can also see that there are invalid packages here, which because of the tables.
Tables are missing. And this is our table solution now.
Yeah, we need a solution for here. And
the second moment we all been waiting for.
Yeah.
our solution for managing tables.
Yeah, for managing tables, we created a special package here, which is suffixed by model.
Yeah, basically the story is here, the entire script of your model it stays in a package and is run in an execute immediate, is run in execute immediates. With one difference though, there is always a check before executing a DDL. So we all say there is a log table, a new log table. So if the new log table doesn't exist, create it. If it exists, just skip it. And this is this object exists is a function above which goes and queries the data dictionary. So this basically it creates all the tables. And in the future, when people add more columns, more views, tables, or indexes, or whatever, we keep adding to these package. There is no problem here with adding and running the same thing because only the new things are being if you run the script, only the missing things will be added. And database schemas rarely roll back, almost never. No one dares to roll them back. It's always a move forward kind of thing. So as long as you keep adding your DDLs to a package using this format, you're just fine. And the next step is that we put this package to Gitora. So this package itself is managed by Gitora. So if one developer adds a column and some other developer adds another column, and then since this package itself is in Gitora, when they are merged, both additions will show up here, and if there's a conflict, that conflict will show up here. And this is for us, this is a really easy, super convenient way of managing our table DDLs or hard objects. Yes, there is a small amount of manual work where you have to write the DDL and put it here. but it's, I don't know, it's better than paying 20,000 euros, I think. Especially in a world where these changes, where table changes almost always move forward and almost never go backwards. And it's just fine even if you move the code to even if you move the code to a previous state, it's just fine to have the database in its current state. This is usually not a problem because hardly ever people do renames on columns. That's just something very dangerous to do. It may break a lot of things. So this is how we do it. And if you worry that your script's going to get too big because it won't, because you have 20,000 tables, well, maybe you have an initialization script that you do once to initialize your databases, and then an upgrade package for each iteration you have where people add things. And when maybe at some point you make sure that every database table is at version 1.1, and then you create a new upgrade package, and this way you manage the size of your packages. But again, like I said, these have never been an issue for us. So this is how we manage our tables.
Yeah. So we have to run.
Yeah. So
this new model.do model procedure to create our tables and necessary other objects. Yeah, are we in pre-prod? Yeah.
And the point here is, I think the point we're making is the objects that can be managed with create or replace, because Gitora can manage everything that is created with create or replace. You can manage it in Gitora. And these are 90% of the problem, arguably 95% of the problem. And we are engineers. If we can solve the 95% of the problem really easily, I believe the tables are just the 5% of the problem. It's a small percent of the problem, and it shouldn't stop us from solving the other 95% of the problem. So if I still struggle with tables, but have a great solution for 95% of my problems, I think that's a great thing. So let's keep that in mind. Look, like this brings you at the same own par with Java and JavaScript people. They have the exact same problem. And you can solve that problem exactly they want. If you want to use an expensive tool to manage the tables, go ahead.
Yeah, let's see if our tables are here. Yeah, they're here. As you can see, some sequences are here too, which are created by our new model, do model. It also rhymes. And yeah, we can do it here too, in dev 1. Let's create our model in development 1 schema. Yeah, they're here, and see if the error's gone. Yeah, they're gone. Sequences are here too. Now we can move on to the other environment, development 2. Let's log in. And as you can see, pre-prod environment is already defined here. So let's do the clone. Select pre-prod, select demo, name is demo. Yola, maybe you can answer questions here while I'm doing this.
Excuse me?
Maybe you can answer questions while I'm doing this. Because,
what I do is people ask questions. I don't want to interrupt you talking, so I'm writing them.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Oh,
because
yeah, don't worry. Yeah, he's repeating the same thing here, so I can actually talk now. So, by the way, the method we showed you, Neil asked this question, the way we manage tables. We are thinking about the best way to incorporate that into Gitora in an automatic way or a semi-automatic way. So instead of people, maintaining a package, maybe we can automate this and maintain it ourselves for you. So we have a few ideas, and I think one of the future versions of Gitora will have a solution for this. And, maybe not the perfect solution, but an acceptable solution that they'll help you apply the patches for tables automatically. Konstantinos asks, why is the source schema name the same as the target schema name? It doesn't have to be. These are on different databases. So we have 3 databases for preprod, dev1, and dev2. And when we move the code from preprod to dev2, Gitora asks us, okay, I'm going to move this code from preprod to dev2, but in which schema do you want me to put this code in dev2? It doesn't necessarily have to be the same schema name. It can be a different schema name. It almost always is the same schema name, but it can be a different one, so it's possible. Okay, so where are we?
I prepared the other environment.
Okay.
So
then we do changes?
Yeah, let's do some changes and perform a commit.
Okay.
First, let's, what should we do? In development 1 environment, as John, as a developer, let's add a function here, new pkg, let's function, let's say function by John.
Okay.
Just
so
to identify it.
You added a function to a new pkg?
Yes.
Okay.
Return number, let's say, that's the boilerplate function. Return 100. I'm returning 100 here. I'm sorry. And yeah, let's try to compile it, save it. Now, which the one, yeah. Let's see from here. Is it here? To check. Sorry. Yeah, as you can see, new PKE is checked here. Yeah, let's do more changes.
You did some changes in day 1?
Yeah, I did some changes in day 1. No, I didn't commit that yet.
Commit that first, and then move to dev 2. Did you do the two changes in day 1? How many?
No,
changes?
just one changes. We just added
one too, and let's commit now.
Yeah, let's do a change in new util package. Let's change function Eric here, just to 7 to 7, let's say.
And notice, you signed into Gitora, right?
Yeah.
Notice though, he didn't have to check out the package. Like there was no extra step to check out the package. We kind of created some convenience here. If a package is available, if it's not locked by anyone, if you just edit it and save it, Gitora is going to check it out for you automatically. So it's kind of a convenience, but I think it's just nice. Maybe it saves just 5 seconds, but since all you do is edit packages, I think this these 5 seconds add up and doesn't get you out of the flow. So I think that's nice. And if you go back here, as you see these 2 packages checked out.
Yeah.
And because it's John who checked out, they are green because Sardar is logged in as John. If he logged in as someone else, these logs would be red.
That's right. Yeah, maybe we should add a column to the table too to see how to handle it as our own method. Yeah,
Neil says we are doing optimistic locking for packages. Yeah, kind of. Man, if that was a database joke, that's the one. That's a meta joke.
Let's say 2 here. Because I already see there are 1, so I need to add new one. Let's say add a new column by Jan 2. So that's great.
Oh, okay. We are also doing a alter table statement.
Probably it's there. I clicked multiple times. Yeah, it's here. New column by Jan 2. So what we need to do right now is, as we told you, we need to add this statement to our model package. So I already wrote it here, so I just copy it to our new model package.
So we have these functions, pre-written functions, and I'm happy to share this with everyone. Heck, I'll send it to you with the emails. It's an example.
Yeah, actually, maybe we don't need those functions. Maybe we just surround it with when others. It might be. Yeah.
This is faster, a little bit faster, probably.
Yeah, probably.
I think the important thing is, though, this package should be not dependent on any other package, any other custom package. I think it's better if these packages are self-contained, so there are less errors, so that they're easy to move. That's something to be careful of, I think. Obviously, they can depend on Oracle supplied packages, but I wouldn't make these depend on custom packages. So I would put the functions I write into the package, even if it's just multiplying the copy, even if it's just copy paste, I would go about that way. I would go about it that way.
Yeah. I added necessary statements here, as you can see. First, we're checking if our new column is added already in the table named ntNewLog. If not, we just execute the statement of alter table. So let's see from the
cool thing is new model is also in Gitora, so
yeah, we can track the changes from Gitora.
You have to refresh the node.
Yeah, as you can see, new model is.
So I guess we're gonna do a commit now.
Yeah, it's time for a commit. And we can click this button here to commit our changes.
Now we see more meaningful changes here when you click diff, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see what we have changed in new model. As you can see here, the statements are here. Alter table, ntNewLog, add new column by John 2. That's all here.
So if you make changes, the changes seem a lot more. Click one more, like new pkg.
Is it small?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just see the change, not the entire package. No, yeah. It can be read, no problem.
As you can see, the other change we did is adding a function function by John. So it's here too. You can see it, review it before committing. Oh, did I close? Oh, no. Okay. Let's see the other one too. As you can see, there's a small change. Return 7 from return 77. So we can commit. Let's do commit here. And let's say fix for issue number 5. Commit. Yeah, there's a small information here. 3 files changed. Okay.
Went through successfully. So now we do a similar thing in the other database there too.
Yeah, before we do it, I just want to show you that you can see the commit here by clicking on this commit.
Oh yeah.
And commit diff. You can see the changes of the commit
really
contained. Yeah, this is a nice thing to go over all of the changes.
So if you look at the commit, see what's been committed, what changes you did to fix this issue, just in one screen. It's really beautiful.
Yeah. Let's make some changes in development to schema. What should we do? Let's add a column first. And yeah, from here, let's say new column by Smith 2 and run it in development 2 schema. To no look, yes. Let's add the column first and see if it's there. Yeah, it's there. And now we should add this to the model of development 2 environment. At the end, it's the same operation we did before. As you can see, the other one we did isn't here because it's on the other database. This whole new environment. Column by Smith 2. Column by Smith 2 in dev 2, yes. Let's see if it's there. Refresh. Well, no, we don't have low. Is it? No, there one. Sorry about it. Yeah. As you can see, new model is automatically checked out as before. Let's go on and change.
Do one independent modification and one that will cause a merge conflict. I think that's
okay. Nice. This is our independent commit. Like, let's creating a parameter nr. Let's say number which is equivalent to hundreds. Let's say. Just something doesn't mean anything, but it's just a change for meter.
Yeah, you added a new parameter and changed the query.
Yeah, it's done, and let's make a change for. Where is it? for a conflict. As you can remember, we just did it 7 to 7. Let's make it 8-8 for this time. Don't save my time. Yeah, let's see. As you can see, all checked out right now. Let's do a commit. You can see the diffs here too. Let's make a commit. Fix for issue number 10. Yes, as you can see, it's here. So what we are going to do right now is developers are made committed, and we have to.
You committed dev.
We have to.
I was answering the question.
Oh, sorry.
So both are committed now, both day 1 and dev 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
So right now we have to we have to go and pull these changes of developers to the pre-prod environment.
While you do that, I wanted Konstantinos asked an important question, and I'm worried that this might be multiple people might be confused by this. He asked, Yalom, which formation does this refer to, your demo? Is it the first formation we showed, the second formation, or the third formation? I think what we show is closer to the second formation. We have dev 1, dev 2, both can be used by multiple developers, and a pre-prod. In dev 1, we only have John in the exact demo, and in dev 2, we only have Smith. But we could easily have more developers. It's just to make a reasonable demo with a reasonable length in terms of time, we just put one developer to each development environment. But we could have 20 developers on each. It wouldn't change anything. This demo also demonstrates the first option. If you remove dev 2 and just have dev 1, it's also the first formation. If you assume that each dev environment is only for one developer, this demo also shows you how to go about doing things in the Nirvana setup of the third formation. However, in the third formation, there is probably a Git workflow involved, but we don't talk about that at all. So we are hitting, with one stone, we are hitting multiple birds. I guess that's the expression, at least in Turkish. It's the most closest it is the second formation, and the second the closest the demo is the first formation. Okay, sorry, Sardar.
Yeah, no problem. Let's perform our pull operations. As you can see here, in the pre-prod environment, there is only one commit, which is initial commit. We just want to pull the commits from developer 1 and developer 2, which are Smith and John. So let's click this button here, remove pull button, and select the one environment. I added them before.
From dev 1.
Yeah, we are pulling from dev 1. From dev 1, from repository demo. And selecting the branch, which is master.
Okay, this time the source and target will be empty. In a pull, these only show up if there are new objects. So if there are no new objects, Gitora knows what to do.
Yeah. Let's make it.
Obviously.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, we're pulling.
Yeah, it says merge completed. And as we can see here, the commit is here from John, which is our first developer. And let's see from database. Go to preprod. Maybe we should refresh and close this. Sometimes SQL developer.
Yeah, caches things unnecessarily.
Yeah, caches things. So yeah. Let's do it again.
Did you run the model yet?
No. Let's see if it's here first. As you can see, our newly added column statement is here. New column by John 2. So what we need to do right now is sorry about it. What we need to do right now is executing new model here again.
Change your database session. Change your database session.
Yeah. You are a savior.
I live to serve.
Yes. Now, first of all, let's see. There's no John 2 here, as you can see. Now, let's run it. Now, look at it again. As you can see, John 2 is here right now. So we can go on to check other changes if it exist here too, which are new pkg and new util. As you can see, the function is here, the function by John. Let's see new util, and it's here that function and return 77. So let's do the other pool, which is from development environment from Smith's changes. Dev 2, let's select demo. Let's check master. Before pressing OK, I just want to let you know that we have to get a conflict here. So
yes, there's going to be a conflict. That's expected.
As you can see from the message, pull completed with issues, and review them and resolve them. So let's see. Okay. As you can see, Gitora is telling you which packages is in a conflict. So let's read from here that package by the new model is in a conflicted situation. So let's go new model package and see the conflict. As you can see, both John and Smith added some statements on the same line. So Gitora actually didn't make it a whole. So we have to make it manually resolve conflict. So what we need is
there are no problems really here. So yeah. You just
we need to do. That's all. Yeah, and you have to preserve both of the statements. So just fix it. I just compiled, and it's now resolved. So what we need to do is just go back and click resolve here, and it's done. The other is new util package.
This is, by the way, this is just like keeping track of things. I mean, this doesn't. If you don't actually resolve and click resolve here, it doesn't resolve anything. This is just for keeping notes, like keeping track. Helps you keep track of things. That's all. It doesn't, like clicking resolve here has no functional meaning.
Yeah.
So you actually have to come to the database and resolve the conflict. Oh, also notice each of these M&T packages, every time there is a conflict, Gitora creates, and this is what Git does as well, creates two additional objects. One ends with $M, the other ends with $T. M stands for mine, so this shows the state of the object before the pull. So this is the state of your object before the pull.
Not before the pull. It's the first. Before the pull. It's before the pull.
The T stands for theirs, meaning this is the package you pulled from dev2. So this is the actual package you pulled from dev2. So if you want, you can open these packages side by side in a comparison editor. Some editors have these comparison utilities, and put them side by side and see where the differences are. And then pick and choose accordingly, because sometimes working on the actual package, the new model package, might be hard if the conflict is too big and too complicated. But putting the two packages side by side really helps. And when you're done, you should simply drop these packages, the M and T packages. And this is how Java developers work as well, by the way. Okay. I just wanted to remind that.
Yeah, let's resolve it.
Oh, here somebody said 77, the other said 88, so we'll agree on a different number. The two developers come together, discuss, and decide to agree on a number, on a different number.
99.
So they agree on 99.
Which is 99, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's compile it.
At this point, you
should drop this too. So
you should drop these M and T packages. Yeah. It's not critical. I mean, you not must. It's not must. They serve no purpose now that the conflict is resolved.
Yeah.
Okay.
We resolved the other thing. It's all gone. We don't have anything in the list. So let's go to next. And we have to make a final commit.
Because we changed it. We changed things. This merge needs a final commit.
Conflicts are resolved. Yes.
Yeah.
It's now okay. What we should do last is.
Yeah, finally, we are all done. But, the question is, now how is Dev 1 or Dev 2 is going to know these recent updates that the release manager did on prep-prod, right? That part is still missing.
Yeah.
So Dev 1 still needs to know, also Dev 2, that things have changed. Dev 1 source code is not up to date with. So we have to go to Dev 1 and also Dev 2 and sync.
Yeah, we have to do a pull operation.
Yeah.
From Dev 1.
Dev 1 pulls from prep-prod, and this time it's going to go all smoothly. Because all the conflicts are resolved now.
Before going to this one, proceeding to this one.
Is there anything else?
We just need to run new model here because.
Of course. So that you have everything.
Yeah. Now we have everything.
Okay. In prep-prod.
Yeah. Now we are in the one environment, and let's make a pull from the prod environment. Master. Sorry. as you can see, all the
successfully. And go to Dev 1 and you'll see all the changes.
yeah.
Go to Dev 1 and look at the source code. You'll see the changes made in Dev 2. They are propagated to pre-prod as well as Dev 1 now.
Yeah, as you can see, the changes of Smith is here too.
Where can you show it? Here's one.
Yeah.
Can you go to the package too, to the util package?
Which is 99 as a result of conflict resolution.
Yeah, that's it. And the other one, what was the other change that Smith has done?
Oh yeah, it's in the query package. Yeah, it's here. The parameter is here. So what we need to do is just because there's a change in table, we just need to run new model.
Oh, you have to run the new model
In Dev 1. Because you don't have to run it every time, of course, just because it has a hard object. So we need to do this. As you can see.
So as you pull things, the schemas were updated automatically. And
Yeah.
changes were propagated automatically. And this concludes our demo, I think, right, Sardar?
That's right.
Yeah, same thing for Dev 2, but that's just the same thing.
Yeah.
Any questions? Any final questions? Well, I see no more questions. Maybe they are typing. Well, in any case, I hope you like what you see. So I think this will be helpful for a lot of people. Thank you, John. Thank you. And like I said, this is available online. We just uploaded the latest version 2.0.2. Go ahead and grab it, play with it, and if you decide to purchase it in the next 24 hours, for every license you buy, we're going to give you 1 hour of professional support for free. Thank you very much for attending. Oh, there's one more question. Thank you. Konstantinos says it's very simple and nice. It's a good job. Thank you, Konstantinos. Thank you for your questions, and thanks everyone for attending. We truly appreciate this. And hopefully we'll see you in the next webinar. The next webinar probably will be with Michiel, and he's going to talk about how he implemented in his at Renus Gitora and how he manages 20,000 DB objects with Gitora. So thank you very much, and
Thank you.
Will there be a way to reply to this webinar, Antonius? What do you mean, reply? Well, you know our emails. Let me write again. You know the website. I'll email you, everyone. I'll email everyone a copy. Yeah, I'll email everyone the video of the webinar, Anthony. No problem. Just it's coming in the next few days. So thank you very much again. Thank you, Sardar. Excellent work.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye-bye.